All right, students, here we are. I figured if you were going to, if I was going to ask you to make a video, it's only apropos that I also give you an example of what I am looking for. So myself and my sous chef, Ryan, say hi.
Hi.
Are going to create a Irish soda bread recipe in honor of St. Patrick's Day. This is something we would have done in class today if we were there. So instead, I'm going to walk you through the ingredients real quick. We already saw Ryan wash her hands. We have sugar, baking powder, baking soda, buttermilk. If you do not have buttermilk, you could simply substitute milk with a 1.5 teaspoons of white vinegar. All right. Instead of raisins, we are ad-libbing here a little bit, and we're using Raisinets. I feel it's going to make a much sweeter, better version of our Irish soda bread. All right, sea salt. I'm using a combination of bread flour and all-purpose flour, and then of course, yes, Ryan, some butter. I put Lucky Charms out here as well, just for fun, because this young lady loves Lucky Charms. All right, okay. We'll be back. She's nervous. All right, chefs, we are back. We just got all of our mise en place together. The only two things we did not add into the bowl yet is the Raisinets, which you can use raisins at home, or if you have those, or currants, or nothing at all. And our liquid, which is our buttermilk, is the only thing we have not added yet. Let's take a look at the bowl. We have our two kinds of flour, our baking soda, our baking powder, our salt. This is all our dry ingredients, and our sugar. And then lastly, our cubed butter, which I'm just using a fork, or rather Ryan's using a fork, because we don't have a pastry blender here in our home. So using a fork, we're just going to start breaking up the butter pieces into little beads. Okay? Go ahead, Ryan.
Okay.
You keep on doing that. Once that is done, what we're looking for is a slightly wetter consistency, something that you can kind of pick up and squeeze in your hand, just as if you're making biscuits, right? We've done that in the past. Then we're going to add our wet ingredients, like into the center of the well, stir it all together, form it into a dough, and then lastly kind of fold in or work in the Raisinets. Can I help you?
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, it's really cold butter, right? So throughout this little experience or experiment that we're doing here, you're obviously going to meet my 4-year-old Ryan. You might see my 2-year-old pop in here and there as well. And you might even meet my dog too, if you're lucky. At home, feel free to go ahead and work with a friend, work with a sibling, like I mentioned already, a parent, a guardian, whoever that might be. You do not have to do this by yourself. And like I've already mentioned, you don't even have to do any talking. I'm not looking necessarily for cooking demos. I'm looking for you to show me that you are just cooking at home. All right, so now, lastly, the last part of this is just going to get your hands in there a little bit.
I do it.
Yes, you can. Understanding that they are clean, okay, put your hands in there and just start working the flour and the butter together. This is called cutting, all right? So what we're doing right now is we're cutting the butter into the flour. This is the part Ryan loves because she gets to play with the food.
Foodie time.
Also, if you don't have it already, which I forgot myself, go ahead and preheat your oven to 375 degrees. Because we're almost towards the end of the restaurant. I have a cast iron skillet here, already greased, ready to go. Okay. All right, that's good, Ryan. Good job. Now, can you go rinse your hands off? Ryan?
Kyle. Time wash. Wash.
Okay, we're done with the messy part. make a well into the center. It's gonna be hard to see in a video, but picture like little beads of butter, little peas, petite peas in butter in your mix. Now we're going to go ahead and pour our buttermilk right into the center.
Daddy, if you mix
Yeah, go
it,
ahead. Keep on mixing. Mix, mix, mix. We're now just incorporating the wet into the dry. Cover, yeah. Alright, at this point I don't really need a whisk anymore. Probably would have been a better idea to use a wooden spoon.
there's got some all over me, Dad.
That's alright, kid. You'll survive.
But taste tasty.
Alright, we're going to fold in our raisinets at this point and bring the rest of the dough together. And lastly, put it onto our prepared cast iron pan.
I have a bean, Dad.
What's that?
I have one bean.
You want a bean? Here you go, here's a bean.
I get a normal bean. Yummy.
Alright, now I'm going to use a spoon.
Let's come in. Portal, need something too? Yeah, no, you did.
Notice I'm doing all this into one bowl. Alright, there's no need to have multiple bowls here. There shouldn't be a whole lot of dishes with making this. It's a really easy recipe. Alright, now finally I am going to get my hands a little bit dirty now. I'm going to take my bread, form it into a round loaf. Alright, can you see that? All the little raisinets kind of popping out. I'm going to place it right on my cast iron
Daddy,
skillet.
I really don't want to touch that.
Okay, now's a good time. Take the opportunity to wash your hands. Last step is traditionally you would make the sign of a cross. Goes back to Catholicism a little bit, or Christianity. It's said to let out the devil or the spirit, which is the steam. We do that for, yes, to let out the steam, but as well as to make sure your loaf cooks more evenly. So just cut an X right into the top. All right, and then we're going to pop that into the oven. One last thing I'm going to do, it's not necessary for you to do, but either brush the top with some melted butter and sprinkle a little bit more sugar on top. It gives it that little extra sweetness. All right, I will show you the final product after it comes out of the oven.